know you all said that. I know Tate told you all that I'm going to be steering this ship, and you probably was hoping that it would be more like Captain Picard, but nope. This is some James T. Kirk nonsense going on today. I might crash land. I might save the day. Who knows? We have to find out at the end of the hour. My boy Tim Lyons, Tate, how you all feeling, man? I know we was watching backstage this New Mexico Marquette game that it was tightly contested for the most part. Most of this game, New Mexico pulled away late in the last 3 or so minutes. Hooray for my bracket.
But you said you picked Marquette in two brackets.
I did, but my best bracket has New Mexico.
See, man, I did one bracket. I lost with Marquette going down.
See, that's exactly why you gotta do more. You gotta roll the dice. More bites of the apple. You get more chances, right? More chances to be right. But
it's certainly you certainly gotta have a bracket of integrity. I mean, that's why one bracket's kind of the way to go. I mean, I get it. Junkies like the brackets. Big B Bronco, that's one of Big G's jobs during the show is to keep an eye on the comments. I was back and forth. Pay and Tim don't have access to put up the comments on this show. So Big G does. So he sits and watches the comments while we do everything else. So that's probably why. Nothing against you personally, Bronco, but that's what it is. My bad, Pay. Go ahead. I have to address Big E in the building.
But no, this is basketball time of the year. But also, it is spring. Tim, what is? I'm gonna just throw you a curveball right off the back. Let me get a top 5 list of your best spring sports. Well, how about this? Not even just spring sports, best spring sporting. I wouldn't say activities, but events.
In the spring?
In the spring.
Well, I'm gonna start off at number 1. My number 1 is opening day.
Baseball
opening day. Yeah, we used to make it a point to always go to every opening day game for the Seattle Mariners when if they were opening here, we'd go to the games. I love baseball. I grew up playing baseball. But I'm a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. But baseball opening day is my number 1. Trying to think. Number 2, like I said before, I'm not a real big basketball guy anymore, but I'd say March Madness it is because I do pay attention to it, even though I'm not like, dialed in and, watching everything that's going on. Me being here in Washington, I follow Gonzaga, and I was happy to see that Gonzaga snuck in to the March Madness tournaments. So that was nice to see. I actually got to watch them play yesterday, and they was like 33 points. It was like 33-3 in the first quarter or in the first half. So that was good to see. Also, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I watched the Notre Dame Fighting Irish women beat up on I forget who the hell her name was. It was like St. Mary Francis of whatever. I don't know, whatever they were. They beat the heck out of them. Yeah, they beat
Catholic on Catholic crime.
Yeah. Then I did watch who else was there? I watched Auburn and Alabama State. That was a good game in the first half. It was nice to see Chuck, Charles Barkley going, we should be beating these guys by more than 10 points at halftime. We should be beating these guys more. And, they turned it around, but they had some injuries during the game. So, but it turned out to be a good game for Auburn. Number 3.
Even before you get to number 3, I'm going to filibuster for you for a second so you can think about it. So even if you don't follow college basketball or basketball at all, you understand that March Madness is a gambler's holiday. It's a gambler's paradise, a sports gambling equinox. Your podcast better half. Where is he at? He's Vegas. At the center of gambling, right? It's an amazing time of year. Spring has some of the best sporting events there is. We already said two two biggest ones, opening day and March Madness. Any other ones come to mind?
My number 3, because it's later on in April, would be draft day.
Yeah.
Draft day is my top, is in my top 3. It's draft day. Come on. If like, I wouldn't get married on draft day. I won't mention somebody's name that's getting married during draft time, but I would never get married during that time. But draft time, it's the future stars of the NFL, who's coming to the Bengals or to other teams, and seeing how see who's going to get who's going to make these big trades and trade up and trade down and all this other kinds of crazy stuff. So for off season for us football fans, it's of course draft day. So draft day is my number 3.
That's a good top 3. I'm a little shocked. Those top 3 that the Masters didn't make the top 3.
I'm not a big golf guy, man. I have not watched. I couldn't stay awake to watch golf tournament, bro. I'd be asleep snoring in my chair if I was watching golf right now. I don't know nothing about who's playing golf. I know something about Tiger Woods. Didn't he tear something or whatever? He's injured.
He's always injured now.
Yeah, I don't know. He's running into poles and getting beat by a
whoa,
woman with a
whoa, man. That's a long time ago. It's a long time ago, Tim.
Yeah, but golf to me, I never was good at golf. I go out there and swing some clubs every once in a while, but to watch the Masters, it's not a top 3.
Hey Tate, you get a good golf nap in when you watch the Masters?
Yeah, I look at it, man. Especially on that final Sunday. That's a thing. But not as much as I did when Tiger was viable though. Like Tiger had me glued to the sport. Just like I'm probably more apt to watch. It does make the top 5 though. And I guess my order would be March Madness 1. Opening day 2. I'll probably put the Masters 3. I'm gonna go. I agree with tonight, but I agree in the NFL draft. That Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, good content. And lastly, I'm gonna go to NBA playoffs.
Yes. The first round of NBA playoffs is electric. You got all the best players, all the best matchups, and you got 2, 3, 4, sometimes 4 games a day. It's just back to back to back ball. No diddy.
Woo.
Tim, you did say opening day was your number 2 on your list, right?
Number 1.
Number one on your list. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's spin the block there. Let's go down the lane and talk about some baseball.
Yeah.
So the reason why I like opening day, it's not as ballyhooed and as an event as opening night for football, or even opening night for the NBA, because baseball just doesn't portend that way, right? And we are baseball fans. We understand. We're good with it as of anyway. I like having a sporting event at 1 in the afternoon. That's perfect for me.
Yeah.
I think another thing that baseball opening day is great is this. You got ace versus ace all over the league. What's some of is any matchups you're looking forward to so far? If you've checked any of the coming up games,
the day ones. I think the Cardinals open up against the Twins.
Yes, I think so.
I think it's who it is. But other than that, I really haven't looked in depth into it. Of course, I want to see how Paul Skeens goes out there and plays, because I'm going to assume he's going to be day 1, pitcher. So I'd like to see how he does, even though he plays for the Pirates. But I still want to see how he does. And of course, watching the Reds and Ellie. Ellie's a star. He's I think he was drafted by the Reds in 2018, 2019, something like that. But he had a good year last year. And then for the Cardinals, for me, I'm a Cardinals fan. It's a different it's a different kind of feeling this year. Well, actually, it's about the same feeling I had last year too. It's kind of like it's up in the air. Are we going to win 70 games or not? So, yeah.
I think you did mention your boy Skeens. How about this? I want to throw this at you. Your boy Skeens is pitching against the Dodgers on Thursday. That's an electric matchup.
Is that in LA or is that in Pittsburgh?
That is in LA.
So it'd probably
I'm sorry. Whoa, my fault. I'm looking at. I got confused. I was looking at B Dirt's favorite team. Scooball is pitching in LA. Opening day.
Scooball's a good pitcher though.
Very good. Very well. That's an electric matchup I want to see.
Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup too. With that Dodgers lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be and I know Scooball. He's a great pitcher. He did great for the Detroit last year. And I know there's always been rumors about them trading him or whatever situation was. But yeah, that'll be a good matchup. Day one is also or on the opening day as well.
Skeens is not so much of a good matchup. He's opening up against the Miami Marlins. I can't tell you who they're.
He's gonna throw 20 Ks that game. I couldn't even tell you who's playing for him anymore.
No, I don't think anyone knows who Miami has on their roster at any given time.
Is Sandy what is it? Alcantara? Is he still pitching for the Marlins?
I don't think so. I mean, he makes too much money. He is no way he could be pitching for them.
I think for some reason, I think he is.
I'm looking at the roster right now. I don't see his name.
All you gotta do is Google search the dude.
It takes a lot.
More than going through a roster.
He's still there. He's still on.
How'd you find that too?
I Googled it.
Okay.
I just put his name in there, and the first thing that comes up is where will Marlins ace Sandy Alcantara pitch by the end of the 2025 season? So I'm guessing they're assuming that Sandy might get traded somewhere during the trade period.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think there's much of an assumption. The Miami Marlins are owned, and this is a bit of inside baseball talk right here. The Miami Marlins are owned by they have private equity money into that ball club now, so they have to. I'm sorry, no, I'm thinking of a different team. The Miami Marlins, they've taken on a lot of loans, so they have to show profitability. You understand, you take on like home loans or anything like that, you have to show the bank. You have to show the bank that you have a plan of making this money back. And Miami, because of this, they have to be profitable. If you've been watching Miami baseball since they've been around for the last close to 30 years, they do the whole thing. They build a team up, they compete, and then they sell them all off. So Miami right now, Jeter is no longer a part of the Marlins. Jamie Carlo, looking at the comments. So Miami right now, I'm going to get back to the point. I'm going to try to finish this up. Miami, they're going to keep their payroll as low as possible so they can continue to produce a profit so they can pay off them loans. And that's a terrible way to have a sports thing. Just in my opinion, my 2 cents on that, which they don't really have to rub together. Tate, baseball. Your Cincinnati Reds, their opening day opponent is whom?
The Giants.
The Giants. Oof. You gonna sweep?
I don't know much about the Giants this year. I'm that confident in the Reds. I'm gonna say we're gonna sweep.
Nah, the Giants. I don't think the Giants are gonna be too much. The Giants are one of those teams that are they'll dip their toe in the water for the first half of the season. They'll play around 500 ball and they don't scare anybody. And then when they come around trade deadline, they'll figure they want to make a push. But no, I don't think the Giants are one of those teams at this point, right? At this point that you have to be necessarily concerned with. It's only so many. It's only the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Dodgers at this point. Everybody else, you're trying to, get where you fit in, and get to the trade deadline, and make some moves. Probably pick up some more bullpen arms and make a push for that World Series, for that pennant. The Cubs are opening, as you all talked about last hour. The Cubs already have 2 games in the hole. They are going to Phoenix Thursday to open up to help the Diamondbacks open up their season. They'll probably get beat up by them as well, and come back to Chicago winless, like down down 5 games. I'll be happy if the Cubs come back to Chicago 2-4, but
wow,
hoping so. Yeah, they got a tough schedule to open up the season. The Cubs have a tough schedule, and it's hard for me not to believe that they don't have a 3rd straight season of starting slow and then have to use the whole season just to get back above 500, where they eventually crap out and don't make the playoffs by a couple of games. Something ridiculous. Tyrone Tracy, nice too. Neighbors is the truth. Okay. I don't know what to do with that, but all right.
Is he talking about the New York Giants?
Yeah, that's why New York Giants. You were talking about the San Francisco Giants,
right?
Man. Okay. Other sports in spring.
Wow. Okay.
Isn't WrestleMania spring? Yeah, Big Pun is shooting his normal. He's just terrible take after terrible take. Yeah, his comment for those that are listening: Cubs are a disgrace. They have cash, no reason to be scrubs. I mean,
the same thing about the St. Louis Cardinals. They got the cash, but they ain't spending it.
I mean, there's
it's a difference in small market cash and big market cash. Yeah, the Cubs, they probably do have like Dodger Yankee cash. Maybe not that much. But they the next tier. They the next tier down.
Yes. So not Dodgers, Yankees. I mean, no one. It's not. You don't even say Yankees cash anymore. The Yankees don't have that type of cash no more.
That's true. That's true.
It is the Dodgers and the Mets.
Yeah.
They have the cash, and then it's a tier down. You have the Yankees and probably the Bo Sox, and then it's a tier underneath that. Then you get to the Cubs. The Cubs, their payroll is probably around 200 million. So to that point, I agree. You should not be bad with a payroll of that high. But the Cubs are not going to be bad. The Cubs are going to be middling. Hopefully, I don't think that's how they're going to end the season. I did predict that they will be a 90 some odd. They will flirt with 90 wins. Whether they get there or not, we'll find out. But and I kind of believe at 200 million, 200 million should buy you more than 90 wins or 88 wins, something like that. But
right,
we live in a world with the LA Dodgers who print money. So
they do.
All right. Elsewhere in spring sports, we got the March Madness we talked about already. Let's flip back that way. Tate, I'm putting you back on your heels. Give me top 5 lists. Best college teams you've ever seen. Emphasis on you've seen. I ain't asked you to give me, the Wilt Chamberlains, the mighty Wilt Chamberlains, or the what Bill Russell's teams were up to in St. Louis. And we ain't got to hear all that.
Yeah, I wasn't around for those teams. But the first great team I remember, man, that I remember watching. Like, I mean, I was around for Magic versus Larry Bird and those Rob. But the first great team I remember, which beat one of the great teams to come out of that, the 1982 North Carolina Tar Heels.
You talking about the Tar Heels that won the championship?
Yeah, Jordan's freshman year. Yeah.
Jordan Worthy.
You got Sam Perkins, James Worthy. Who else was on that team?
Perkins, Worthy, Jordan. Those are the big three.
Jimmy Black was guard. Yeah,
you're right. He was. Yeah. That was 82 Tar Heels that won the title.
Dean Smith coached the Tar Heels.
Dean Smith.
Dean Smith.
Matt Doherty. No, he played on that team too. Yeah, see, I'm showing.
Doherty was on that squad, yeah.
I'm showing my knowledge, my know-it-alls knowledge on the
might as well say Buzz too. He was on the squad.
Yeah, Buzz. Was it Aldrin? No, he's the race car driver. Yes,
an astronaut. Yes.
He goes fast.
He broke the speed of sound. That's where the race car driver came from.
Oh, good save. Good save.
But Buzz, what was his name? Peterson.
Right. He's also
Buzz Peterson. Yeah. Jordan's first gambling buddy.
First of the minute.
So that team is one, and they beat an upstart Georgetown Hoyas with Patrick Ewing as a freshman. Patrick Ewing probably goaltended the first 3 or 4 shots that game.
He did.
I mean, he would just you couldn't. I mean, yeah, he was sending a message. Then the team after that, I'd probably. I'm assuming if this is the best ever, they have to have won it, right?
I mean, up to you. These are the best teams that you like. Best 5 teams that you saw.
Okay, so then I'll go to the 84 Georgetown Hoyas. Did they beat Akeem Olajuwon?
I think I know.
They lost 85 to Villanova.
I know Georgetown. They got one during Pat Ewing's time.
84.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, because Houston had lost 2 years in a row. They lost North Carolina State in '83. They lost to Georgetown in '84. Epic matchup: Ewing versus Olajuwon. But Georgetown also had on that team Reggie Williams. Who was their point guard on that team?
That's Brad Daugherty, Jamie Carlo. You're close. You got the school right. Brad Daugherty is a NASCAR announcer. You're right. You're close.
Yeah, it's understandable. Just like breaking the speed of sound made me think he was a race car driver.
That's not.
But yeah, man, that team with Patrick Ewing, Reggie Williams, Eric Sleepy Floyd was a baller. I don't know if y'all remember him. He was a baller in the league, Sleepy Floyd. So that's my, and I'm going in order, right? So that's 2. My third team, and this is kind of one of my favorites. I don't think they beat any of the all-time great teams. But for whatever reason, the 87 Indiana Hoosiers. Bob Knight, Steve Alford, Ricky Callaway. I mean, that's when like the 3-point shot was brand new, and Steve Alford, who's now the coach of the Nevada Wolfpack, was a dead-eye shooter, one of the best shooters in college basketball ever. Well, because one of the first two, with the 3-point line in college. So I like the 87 Indiana Hoosiers. Then I'll probably these are different. I'm confusing these teams with the best runs, right? By a player to lead your team. But so all-time teams, and they won one. I got to go with the UNLV Running Rebels.
I was waiting for you to get to them.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, they won one. They lost one against. And I'll just stop before we even get to 95, man. I'll go right from there. The team that beat them when they was 30-0, 31-0, going for a repeat, the Duke Blue Devils. Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill. I know you hated Pay. I know you hate like me saying the Packers are one of the best all-time winningest franchise in NFL history. You don't want to hear that. But yeah, the Duke Blue. I gave North Carolina one of the first 5. So yeah, Duke Blue Devils, man. 90.
Yeah, all the teams
92 Blue Devils.
I don't think that team was that good.
So I left the last 30 years off. I just gave you from 82 to 92.
Yeah, I know. You just sat down in the pasture and you have to rambling about the good old days. That's
Hey man, I think perceptually things are bigger when you're young, right? So I was young. I really remember those things. I remember being on the floor at my grandmother's house in front of a big floor model TV, watching that Georgetown, North Carolina game, just like sitting in close up in front of the TV laying on the carpet, just looking right at it, man. That's how I remember Patrick Ewing goaltended the first 3 or 4 shots of the game. I mean, so I think things seem bigger when you're young, so those things stand out more.
What you think about his list, Tim?
I think it's a great list, with the all-time, NBA greats that were included in there. It's a good list. Like for me, like I wasn't really into college basketball very much, but I know in the 90s when the Fab Five, that was a team that I was, I would put up there in one of those lists. UNLV, of course. Um, Michael Jordan and James Worthy and Perkins. Of course, you got those. But other than that, I think he did. It's a good list. Yeah, Tate's a little bit older than me. He's a little bit older, so he
You and you and
remembers.
you and B Dirt the same age?
Yeah, we're the same
Okay,
age.
I got an idea.
So yeah, but basketball for me, I think the only basketball I still really started watching was during the '90s, during the Fab Five times, because Brandon and I are such good friends, and going up to Michigan to baseball camp and stuff, and so the Fab Five I was really familiar with, and watching them play. Of
And
course,
they will definitely be one of the best teams to never win it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I definitely like Tate's list.
It's kind of like football. The Fab Five, their freshman year, put Ohio State out when they were really good with Jimmy Jackson and Lawrence in the Elite Eight. We had plans on going to the chip, and them young freshmen ruined it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure Pay, you probably have some North Carolina teams in there. I'm probably guessing with like some Jerry Stackhouse or some NBA player that
He
played
said best ever could be his
but he's
best.
got his
Ever.
bias.
Okay.
Come on, he's smiling,
Right.
he's smirking. I'm not wrong. He's smirking.
They didn't win a chip. Wallace or Stackhouse didn't win a chip.
I know, but
they
I'm
did
sure
not.
he's got
Vince Carter didn't either, did he? No.
No.
Yeah, okay.
But that wouldn't be neither one of those teams would be on my best top 5 list. In fact, I give you my top 5 list. Number 5. I'm going to start with the first team that I was introduced to. That is the Michigan Fab Five. Shout out to your boy, your podcast better half, B Dirt. That team is what they were rock stars, right? At that age, and getting me to sit down in front of the TV to watch sports, it was going to be a tough sell. Like my parents aren't sports fans to that nature, so I had to want to do it. Yeah, I outside to go. I can go do something outside. I can watch cartoons. I got Matchbox cars. I got a bunch of other things that are going to keep my interest, not sports.
See,
at that point.
That tells the disparity between us. I graduated with the Fab Five, so when I was a freshman in college, they were freshmen in college.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was the first team that got me to want to watch sports. Like, man, I got to see what's going on with this squad. But the first player that made me want to be involved with sports, maybe like sports, was Michael Jordan. And who were the Fab Five player? My number 4 team, the North Carolina Tar Heels. Michael Jordan was the everything for me growing up. Obviously, growing up in Chicago, Michael Jordan is a deity. I want to do everything he did. When I hooped, I wanted to wear shorts under shorts.
You had the knee brace.
I had the knee brace. I thought if I jumped with my tongue out, I was gonna fly higher. All that stuff, right? So I became a North Carolina fan by way of being a Jordan fan. And watching North Carolina, this is the first college basketball game I ever watched. Watching North Carolina beat Michigan, I said, "Oh, this is meant to be." My first favorite player outside of Mike, my first favorite North Carolina player was Donald Williams, who won most outstanding player of that game.
Ooh.
So that's a quick story of that background. That's how I became, and 32 some odd years later, still rocking the sky blue. Number 3, the third best team I ever saw. This one's tough. This will be the Illinois Fighting Illini of 2005. I think Here you go, Flying Illini. The Flying Illini of 05. I think they started the season 30-1, something like that. They went to the tournament 31, if I'm not mistaken. They had one of the greatest college basketball games you'll ever see. Well, at least one of the best tournament games you'll ever see. That game in which they had the furious comeback against Arizona. I think that was an Elite Eight. They was a very good team. They had a couple of local legends on the squad. D Brown. What's my man name?
D Brown's from Chicago.
The area. D Brown's from the area.
No, I only asked because you weren't watching it, but that wasn't even the Illini's best team. Their best team was in '87.
A lot of Illini fans would argue that. A lot of Illini fans, but they're more
because they lost in the Final Four, and that team lost in the national championship.
Right,
but their road was tougher. I mean, Kendall Gill, Nick Anderson, Kenny Bardo, Lowell Hamilton,
those are Chicago
Marcus
names.
Liberty. Them boys was beasts.
Those are names, but the same 05 Illinois team, like you said, they went to the national championship.
They went to that championship.
Yeah, and then they lost to my team. Number two best team I ever seen, the 2008 North Carolina Tar Heels. And this is why. This is why. No, I got reasons for it. So at that time, that team was the only team to have ever won every tournament game by 10 or more points. I think that's only been done once or twice since, but that was a record. They dominated everyone on their way to putting up that trophy. They went through Blake Griffin. They went through who was on that Michigan State team? They had a couple of pros on Michigan State. They just blitzed them. Was
it Gary Harris? Was he there then?
I think so. I think Gary Harris was on that team. But yeah, that was the second best team. And here's a shocker. My number one best team I ever seen from a men's college basketball, 2001 Duke Blue Devils.
Wow. I'm surprised to hear that from your mouth, being a North Carolina fan.
I thought there would be a lot more oh my gosh, shock and awe. But yeah, no, I don't like Duke. I don't particularly hate them. I hate State. I hate the Wolfpack. Duke, I don't like how they get glazed. But this team, the 2001 team, they deserved it. That team was they had 8 future NBA players on that squad. 8. Yeah. And I just knew it was I remember watching them play. I forget who they were playing against. I want to say it was Maryland, but I don't think it was Maryland. In fact, I know it wasn't Maryland because Maryland wouldn't have went out like no chumps like this. But I think I was watching them on ESPN. I was so happy they were down by 10. I'm like, yes, Duke's gonna lose. And they came back from a 10-point deficit in 61 seconds. 61 seconds left in the game. They erased a 10-point deficit to the overtime and won. I said, that's it. They're gonna win the championship. There's nothing anybody could do to this team. This team is amazing. They had Shane Battier, Jay Williams, Sheldon Williams, Chris Duhon on the bench.
And Jay Williams played on that 01 team, didn't he?
That's what I said, the 01 squad.
Oh, okay. You jumped around. That's why. Okay.
I can't even name all the hoopers out. But go look at the roster. 8 NBA players on that team. That was a formidable team. I would be lying to you if I told you that team was not one of the best in the last 25 years.
Good list.
Okay.
And that's all the Duke praise I would give you for the next 25 years as well. Let's go ahead and take a break real fast. We've been rambling about the good old days for the last 35 minutes. If you're watching live, stay tuned. You're listening on audio. Our advertiser partners got a quick word for you, but we'll be right back after this. Tim, are you a wrestling fan?
You know, I can't believe you're bringing this up. I do. I watch. I usually watch the main events. Like Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. I don't watch wrestling all the time. Because when I grew up, I was watching the NWA. With Ole and Arn Anderson and Ric Flair and Sting came out and Hogan and Andre the Giant and Macho Man Randy Savage. But I do partake in watching the main events when they come on.
I'm surprised WrestleMania, who is another spring sports event, surprised that didn't make your list.
WrestleMania, I will watch it. Trust me. It's not like, like my wife makes fun of me for watching wrestling because, we all know it's fake. Well, come on, it's staged. It's but you still have to be, an athlete in order to pull off the stuff that they do. There's been matches where I was watching, I think it was like Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins were fighting a ladder match one time, and they're tossing each other on these ladders. I'm like, you know what? This crap might be fake, but that hurts because you saw red welts all over their backs from being thrown in the ladders. We've seen some crazy stuff. But yeah, WrestleMania, I will definitely be watching it. I will not miss it. Like I said, I watched SummerSlam, WrestleMania. What's that one that they do in India or I think it's India. I don't know where it is. Dubai.
I think it's Saudi. Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I do. I watch all the main events. It's it's entertainment to watch, and I know it's fake, but it's still fun to watch.
No, I mean the storylines. I'm gonna ask you because I haven't watched wrestling in a while. But are you more of a storyline guy? Are you more for the choreography?
Well, when I was watching it religiously, I don't know if you guys remember. Oh, of course you guys remember Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
Former
Minnesota Viking.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar and what's his name? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. The head of the table guy. What's his name? The Hawaiian dude.
He's supposed to. Right, yeah, he's supposed to be like kin to The Rock.
Yeah, something like that. But anyways, they, there was a good storyline going on with all that stuff, but then they kept going on and dragging it out, and then they brought in this whole Cody Rhodes thing, which Dusty Rhodes was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up as a kid.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and it was great to see Cody Rhodes get that storyline and win that championship. And my allergies started acting up a little bit when Cody won that championship, even though I know it's staged, it's planned, it's a plan, but it kind of made your allergies mess up a little bit during that time, and it was nice to see. So yeah, I am a storyline guy because if there's not a good storyline, then why even watch it? Why waste your time watching wrestling? Because we all know it's fake, but we want to see what the writers have written up. Yeah,
and they say I think Triple H is head of writing now. Now that Vince is out, and they say the writing the plot better. Lines has gotten a lot. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better now that he's in charge of creative. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
So you know what time is. It's time for another top five.
Oh, crap.
Tate, Tim, top five wrestling. I'm not even going to keep this to WWE or F. I'm gonna just say top five wrestling moments.
Ooh.
I gotta shout out Big Pun's comment. The Arkansas Razorback team was one of the great teams too. I don't think I made it that far. They could have had some consideration.
The 94 team?
Oliver, huh?
The 94 team?
Yeah.
With Corliss Williamson?
Yeah. And
I hate that team.
Ty Day, Lee Mayberry, them boys was beast. But top five wrestling, Tim, that live super chat from the homie Claude Bishop.
Go ahead and read it, and then go ahead and get your button ready.
Gentlemen, wrestling is 100% fake and not a real sport. Do better, fellas.
Get your button. Get the button.
Claude.
You want the button.
Hey,
Tim, You lieutenant governor. Do you want to go ahead and
I don't know
have
who.
him,
I don't know who. There was no voting going on for this lieutenant governor stuff, and I never approved that photo that you guys used for Matrix either. But even though he paid, you know what? He paid $5 for that comment. And yes, Claude, we understand that it is 100% fake and it's not a real sport.
Well, that's
but you
that,
still gotta
Tim
and
said
that's why it's metric worthy. You
Exactly.
said 2 or 3 times it's fake.
He said it 37 times.
Yeah,
Like, he didn't need you to point it out.
I did.
$5. That's $5 cover charge. Matrix. Go.
Is that a photo of you, Tim?
That's not. Hey, I didn't approve that. I did not approve that, Claude. That's on them. But yes, we did say that it was 100% fake and it wasn't real. But you still have to be athletic to pull off some of those moves that those guys do, guys and gals do.
But so go back to Tim. My brother is like a month older than B Dirt. So, and you said you and B Dirt about the same age. So my brother loved wrestling, man. Right? Like loved it. I mean, he used to make like crochet belts and stuff and be jumping off his dresser onto his bed, doing his super elbow and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, at that time, like this little dumb kid, like, you know, probably like 11 years old or something, but watched it faithfully. So as far as wrestling goes, I think WrestleMania 2 is the spring it has been for the last 37 years since WrestleMania 2, right? It had to be like
87.
87. So 38 years this spring. Last time I really looked at any wrestling because Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. My favorite wrestlers, my top 5, I got to go, and I go back like you, Tim. I'll say I like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. One. Yep. I liked I don't know if you remember Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake was one of my favorites. Jake Snake Roberts, one of my favorites.
Yep. For
whatever reason, he came over from the NWA into the WWF. Roddy Piper was a favorite.
Yep.
I'd say that's 3. I'd say 4. I think my brother had an action figure, and I used to like not like play with it like he played with him, but I thought it was cool. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, man, because he's all-time great, he's still all-time, man. Give my boy Ric Flair.
Yep. Yeah.
So I say him last because he's probably number 1 in my book. But those my top 5 off the dome, having not watched wrestling really since 87. I think I was like 14 years old at the time. So them was my wrestlers as kids, the guys I named.
Mm-hmm. That's a good list. For me, my list is broad. So, but let me address this chat real quick. Gavin Anthony asked me why I'm wearing a Seahawks jersey in that picture. Real quick, I had a bet that I lost. The Bengals had to win more games than the Seahawks did that year, and I lost. So that's why I'm wearing that Seahawks jersey. It's a Greg Olsen jersey, by the way. So, I'm sorry.
You better get Google Scrub. You Google Tim Lyons. That's the picture that come up.
Yeah. So, but my top, I have some top. I'm gonna give you some top moments to pay, but also I'm gonna give you some of my favorite wrestlers. Top moment was, he
did say moments. I didn't have moments.
It's okay. It's okay, Tate.
That's good.
Because I'm going to guess one of your top moments was probably when Hulk Hogan picked up Andre Giant and slammed him because he is the biggest man in wrestling at the time. I'm sure that's probably one of your biggest moments.
That would be one memorable anyway.
Yeah. My other moment would be, like, I don't know if you guys remember during the WCW days or NWA days when Sting was coming back to wrestling, before he was, or excuse me, after he was, the bleach blonde guy in yellow trunks and pants on. He came back as like the Crow character, and he was seen.
He wears yellow now?
Well, no. He went and started wearing this whole black the crow kind of.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And that was one of my top moments with Sting. Sting, he would be up in the rafters, stalking his prey, whatever. But then he made that comeback to wrestling. But yeah, Sting was one of my favorite. I said players. Sorry, one of my favorite wrestlers. Also, the Steiner brothers. We can go back, like I said, I can go back to Ole and Arn Anderson, Ric Flair. Another one that I'm a favorite of, and I don't know if you guys know him, Al Snow. If you guys remember Al Snow, he came from the ECW side. He's actually a Lima, Ohio. He's a Lima, Ohio native. Actually, he's actually a really nice guy. He was one of my favorite wrestlers to watch in
biggest Lima, Ohio native.
Yeah,
Al Snow, or Brad Cummins.
I'd say Phyllis Diller.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm talking sports wise.
Sports wise, for me, it would be Al Snow.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a lot of favorite wrestlers, but I can go on and on. But my most George Foreman died. How? Wow.
Well, we got to look that up. Hold on. I don't want to eulogize a man before I know. Filibuster
dies at 76 years old.
Damn, and we just gave him his flowers last week too.
Yeah, wow. He just passed away. That's too bad.
Who posted that?
That was
Craig
on Bleacher. Did. Yeah, and Bleacher just showed it to. Just came through as soon as I seen that.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow, George Foreman. Rest in peace.
No doubt.
I need to give me another grill.
We were just talking about that, weren't we?
We were. We were. Rest in peace, George. Big George. Wow. I mean, all his kids are named after him, so.
Yeah. His name lives on.
Yeah, so his name is definitely going to live on. R.I.P.
Wow.
While we're talking about athletes in the ring,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to cut you off, Tim. Yeah, you was doing a thing.
You're fine.
So, you said Steiner brothers. Who was after that?
Steiner brothers. I said Ric Flair and Ole and Arn Anderson. Those guys.
Oh yeah, the Four Horsemen.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen. Yeah, Ric Flair. Those guys.
Ric Flair's the GOAT, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I think Ric Flair is the GOAT.
I said that already too, though.
Yeah, and you're right.
Not my GOAT. I mean, but you'll hear my list in a second. Well, you got one more, Tim?
My all-time favorite wrestler of all time. Of all time.
Go ahead and say it. Come on.
I'm gonna say The Undertaker.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Billy Kid.
No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say The Undertaker. His storylines, throughout, and I'm not saying that he's, The Undertaker. He won how many WrestleManias or whatever in a row before he actually, was finally defeated. But his storylines were always great, and I remember watching The Undertaker as Mark Green in the NWA. That's how long ago I knew, before he was known as The Undertaker. Mark Green, hell of a wrestler, great storylines for him. And, it's just one of my favorite. It's like one of my top favorites of all time.
So the Rock didn't get no love out of this?
Neither one of you all said The Rock. I mean, I'm going to say The Rock. That's my number one. That's my number one. The Rock is my number one.
The Rock is a great wrestler, but the thing is for me is I'm tired of seeing him on TV every time I turn on the TV that he's on some new movie.
He's the biggest action star too.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
He
can't go nowhere without The Rock. I mean,
I didn't say The Rock because The Rock wasn't around when I gave my list and I was watching wrestling, but I knew who he was. I'm like, look, neither one of you guys said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna combine my list. So my top two moments. Well, I only have really. I got two top moments, so I can't make a top five list. SummerSlam of '96 when Hulk Hogan turned heel, and the NWO was formed.
Yeah.
That was a big moment. The other top 5 moment was Stone Cold Steve Austin, who's on my top 5 list, when he surprised Vince McMahon in the hospital. And
And beat the brakes off of it.
that was funny. also when The Rock threw him off the bridge, that was another big moment for me.
Yeah.
My top 5 list of wrestlers, in no particular order. In fact, no. Number 1 is The Rock, and everybody else is tied for number 2. Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels,
Yeah.
Goldberg. I know that's controversial. I was
Yeah.
a big WCW fan, and
Goldberg was a shit though.
yeah, he was. He had Riz. He had, as the young kids kid, Riz, and Billy Kidman.
Yeah, Billy Kidman.
Yeah, that was my boy.
He was a weasel. I never
He
really
was.
liked his character. Don't get me wrong, good wrestler, but he was just a weasel. I really never liked him, even when he was with the NWO.
He was a weasel. I mean, going for that cruiserweight division, Rey Mysterio was always the best. But it was just something about how they propped up Billy Kidman. Like, you know what, I mess with him.
Good list.
Yeah, that was funny. All right, so that's 4 spring sports events. We talked about basketball. We got baseball in there. We even fit WrestleMania in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But we're all amped up for the mother of spring events, and it's going to be B-Dirt's wedding. We got 1 month until, and I cannot wait. Tim, as you said, you was paying off a bet. G is gonna pay off all the bets he owes me.
No, really.
At when we do our thing, we're gonna do a big thing for B-Dirt's wedding. We're gonna do something homie style, and I'm waiting. I know I owe G a lot of corner time. Actually, some of it's gonna cancel out because of corner time he owes me. But there's that one bet where I say he owed me push-ups. I'm like, nah, that's gonna pay.
Boy.
You're paying me that. You're paying me that one. And I'm waiting till I see him. Diamond Dallas Page, best finishing move ever, a diamond splitter. Diamond Dallas Page was I have no animus against him. I just think I just didn't like how he just named himself the people's champ. Like, who approved this? You're just the people's champ because you say so?
Like,
I think the best move was 619 by Rey Mysterio.
I agree.
I don't know any of these guys you guys are talking about. I mean, I knew like I stopped at Steve Austin, Stone Cold, somebody else you said, Pay, maybe one other person. The Rock, obviously, one other person you said.
What's my man name? The guy from Triple H's best friend, Shawn Michaels.
I knew Shawn Michaels.
See,
so one last question with wrestling. Best all-time tag team duo. All time.
Oh,
one.
Easy. Rock and Sock. Why y'all shaking your head? The Rock and Sock, they didn't lose. They didn't lose any matches. That's a cheat. That's a cheating answer because they weren't a real team.
I'm gonna say,
come on, Tim. You gonna say who I'm gonna say? Go ahead and say.
Simmons and Ron Simmons and oh my gosh, I forget what the other guy's name was.
So he wasn't that good.
Yes, they were.
You don't remember his name?
Oh my gosh, I can't
You
remember.
said Ron Simmons. They should have one name like Rock and Sock. I don't know him, but okay, I get Rock and Sock.
The Rock and Mick Foley.
Well,
mine lose a game.
Mine are the Road Warriors. Boom, there it is.
That's true with Hulk and Animal. I can agree with you on that one. Yeah, I can agree with that one too.
What about Billy? Not Billy Kid, but Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. No,
or how about Kevin Nash and what the hell's his other? What's the other guy's name? Oh my gosh, I'm going blank. I'm getting old. I'm forgetting stuff.
Razor Ramon.
Kevin, and Razor Ramon. Those two guys were good tag team too.
All my favorite ones were the guys who were great on the mic. I don't care what they did in the ring. If you had pause, if you had mic skills, yeah, I rocked out with you.
Hey, the only person that know about my skills is if you watched when we was at. Oh, that was wasn't that Best Man? Yeah, it was. They sit around the card table. Can she rock the mic?
Yeah.
So I knew what you meant, pause, but not everybody knew that.
So, Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels had the best intro music. The Rock, Stone Cold, they were great. They were great doing promos.
Hey, Turk Hollinger, I remember that TBS. Who was the little old move? Gordon Foley was a dude that hosted wrestling back then on TBS.
Yeah,
I remember the great Kabuki and Abdullah the Butcher and Tony Atlas and Tommy Rich. All those guys was TBS guys. Super chat from the homie Claude in the building. Thanks, Claude, for the 2. Go ahead, read his chat. His comment, Tim.
Why don't you talk about figure skating next? Well, there's a reason why we're not going to talk about figure skating next, because none of us watch it.
And it's not a spring sport. You're not paying attention.
It's not a spring sport. He's not paying attention. But there is one element of wrestling in that, and that's when Tanya Harding smashed Nancy Kerrigan's leg to get her out of to keep her from competing and beating her.
Yep.
Took it to the parking lot. That's wrestling like, Claude. Thank you.
Minor clarification. It was her trainer that did it, not her.
Tanya Harding didn't do it?
No, she didn't do it.
She the one got in trouble.
She got in trouble, yes, but it wasn't her that actually did it.
If you can't join her, beat her.
That's how you get it. That's how you do it. All right. So, like I said, the biggest spring event we got coming up, B Dirt's wedding, and you all can. I promise you, wait. It's gonna be fun when BG got to pay back some of them bets. I've got something planned. I've told B Dirt about it. It's gonna be hilarious.
I can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be hilarious. Another one.
Are you going to?
No, unfortunately, yeah.
You got a far way to travel.
Yeah, if I lived in Maryland, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, whatever, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But unfortunately for us, I'm flying from Seattle, Washington, all the way to South Carolina. Plus everything else. It's just like when my wife and I put the budget together, I was just like, yeah, we kind of wish he went to Vegas and got married, and then we meet him there. But I'm happy for him. And I'm glad you guys can be there to support him. Give him a hug for me. When you guys see him, because he is a really, really good friend of mine. So.
Tim.
Yes, sir. You
texted me last night. We talking about doing the show. You said, "Oh, Tate gonna be alone," and you sent the gift and said, "Come give me a hug." What was my response to you?
No diddy.
And I'm not giving B Dirt a hug for you.
Come on,
give my boy a pound.
Hey,
a hug is so huggy. I'll give him the wrap around with the pound on the back, man. But I got to keep it. I got to keep it gangster, man. I ain't hugging on B Dirt.
Getting in your feelings.
What you all got coming up on the Running Through the Jungle this week, Tim?
I don't know. Brandon's in Vegas, so he's usually the guy that steers the boat over there. If not,
what about Who Day Wednesday? What you give us something?
Who Day Wednesday does not happen until the season begins again, because if you guys watched my Who Day weekly, I would go over the Cincinnati Bengals games, and then I would go over the NFL fantasy football. Who was the top point getters for the week. But I might change that actually this year, because I know it was kind of long-winded a little bit. I know people probably were like, "Oh, geez, he's really just reading off stats." So it was something new. It was something that I was trying to get comfortable doing stuff by myself, because
that's rough so early on.
It is. It's hard starting off on your own. And if you've never done a podcast before, try making content with yourself and nobody else to bounce stuff off of. So it's a little hard.
It is. Cool.
Yeah. Everything you just said the last 15 seconds is a big no diddy. Try bouncing content off yourself, something else, and it's a little hard. All that.
I tell
my co-host that, Tim, all the time, and he don't want to listen to me, because I tell I want him to, so I ain't got to be there for him all the time. I want him to, but then he said, all right, I'm gonna do it. Never gets around to doing it. So then he said, all right, I'm gonna do it. And then the next thing you know, the video he sends me is 3 minutes long. And I'm like, bro, this is not an episode.
All right, put Claude in the Matrix. We got a whatever the hell this thing is called, a super chat. By far the worst overtime show ever. I'm sorry, Claude. I love you, brother, but you deserve to go in the Matrix for that. Come on, we're doing our best here.
We talked about football the whole first hour, man. This show is kind of like off the rails with whatever comes up. We spent way longer on wrestling than I was anticipating, but the conversation got good. A lot of ideas, a lot of old thoughts. I mean, so we talked about March Madness. We talked about baseball if you was here on time. Come on, Claude. Go on and go home. You don't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. But I'm going to give you a one-way ticket back to your residence.
Thanks for checking in, at least, Claude. We appreciate you showing up for our nostalgia hour where we're talking about spring sporting events. Check the theme. It was all right. I appreciate everybody else watching. Check out Running Through the Jungle this week. They go live on Thursdays. They're gonna keep you abreast with all what's going on in Cincinnati. Know-it-alls Sunday. What you got on tap?
We're gonna talk some March Madness, man. Men and women's brackets. Got a special guest coming on. Used to play female collegiate basketball. Played at Old Dominion. Really a hooper too, man. So we got her coming on and talk about some of the bracket stuff with us. And we'll go from there. It could turn into this. Ma usually drives that show. Pay kind of drove this show not into a ditch, but off the road anyway, right? I mean, he took a right. He's supposed to take a left. So here we are, and it's okay by me. You the driver. I'm just riding. Pause.
That's what she said.
I picked the lane. I said, you know what? I know exactly where we're gonna drive this show, and I drove it flawlessly. This week, coming up on Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, we are dropping film. If you are a football fan, and I believe most people watching the show are, if you're interested in draft comps and some film study, check it out. This week we're dropping about 7 videos of some of the top prospects coming up. Most of them prospects are going to be players that are, Chicago Bears fans are interested in, but some of them, Chicago Bears will only get one of them. I'm sure a lot of these guys are going to be very interesting to you. If you just love football, you might want to pop in, check those out. I just got done editing the Ashton Jonty and the Kelvin Banks tape. So be on the lookout for those. All right, fellas, y'all got any last words before we hit the bricks for the week?
Claude's comment.
A lot of hate.
Ballroom dancing.
I don't
know anything about that, Claude.
Old Big Pun told me that I should be taking shots of antifreeze. Let
me tell you something. Antifreeze is too expensive in this country, along with eggs. I'm sick of it. The car, it's had a leak issue the last month. Fix one hose, another hose gets messed up, and the pan, the pan is leaking the other day. I'm just buying antifreeze by the barrel. It's too expensive. Antifreeze should not cost as much as it does.
Why you got to buy so much antifreeze?
I just said there was a bunch of leaks. The pan was leaking. Okay. Then the hose one hose was loose, the other one was cracked. It was enough. Too annoying.
Like time for a new car.
That's exactly what I said. I said if I buy one more thing of antifreeze, one more, I'm throwing this car in Lake Michigan. I'm sick of it.
Do it.
So you throwing it in Lake Michigan? You obviously up in Chicago. You don't have those those pipe.
No.
I mean,
It was Chicago reference. I'm throwing it in the nearest body of water. The nearest body of water would be the Gulf of America.
You know, I didn't get to ask my where in the world is Pay San Diego this week question because I wasn't in the chat. So where is Pay this week?
No, I'm in Atlanta right now. So
Atlanta? Okay.
ask me next week. It'll be a different answer.
All right. Well, I got nothing for you guys. Just, thank you guys for having me, having me fill in for B Dirt. I know I'm not B Dirt, but he's got a little bit more knowledge on the cap space, and his views are kind of different from mine.
It's hard to measure up to the wee boy, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. He is the number one wee boy of all. So, but thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun. It was a lot of laughs.
It was, man. Thanks for joining us, man.
No problem.
Man. Anytime. Tate.
Yeah, man. I don't have anything to really say. Check out the know-it-alls on Sunday. I just said what we be talking about. Big G should be back for that one. Shout out to Big G and his family. Praying for you, bro. I know you got stuff going on that, obviously you'll have taken care of by the weekend. Everybody will be happy to see you. I'm thinking, who knows what direction this would have went if G was hosting. Pay, you did a good job, chauffeuring us around, man. We appreciate you handling the shift, man. That's what a good coworker does, man. He picks up the slack when another team member is out. So thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys. I did plan to end the show ranting about the biggest news I thought in this week was Jackie Robinson being taken off a certain website, but the vibes are off. I'll leave that rant for another time. Thanks you all for watching, even including you, Claude. We appreciate all the super chats, appreciate everybody's eyeballs. Be on the lookout for more episodes from all of us and all of our sister channels. Until next week, peace out.
And we are out. Until next week.
Mamba out.